How's it going, guys? We're back with another wonderful episode. This time, we're going to check out the difference between prisons in Germany and prisons in the United States of America. This is something that I've often wondered. I've heard a lot about how our prison systems definitely a lot different than, in other parts of the country and stuff like that. So go check out the original channel. The link to this video that I'm reacting to will be in the description section down below. The channel name is Germany versus USA. So I'm gonna go ahead and switch over my screen here. Boom, there we go. And we're gonna jump right into this. We're gonna find out what the difference is between the German system, or the German prison system, sorry, and the United States of America prison system.
Welcome to Germany versus USA, and today we're talking about prison.
So the first thing that comes to my mind when we're talking about prison in the United States is actually that getting arrested is fairly easy in the United States, right?
Yes, this is what brought up the topic. In the U.S., it's
like
a lot
polluting, you're in jail.
littering, jaywalking. No, but in the United States, it's a lot easier to get arrested than it is in Germany. I'm not saying that the Germans don't arrest people, because they obviously do, but it's just we're a little quicker to do it. I think with our prisons, it's what? I mean, we read 1 in every 100 adult in the United States is in jail.
I wonder.
That's way high.
I wonder exactly where this person's from in the United States, because obviously different regions, different states, different parts, cities, whatever, will have different. I mean, obviously the rules are fairly the same. Different states have different rules, but different cities, some cops tend to just be bigger assholes than other cops. And so the experience with the prison system or the police will definitely vary depending on where you are in the nation or what state or whatever. And I'm sure that's the same with any other country. But I wonder what part, because the United States is massive, right, guys? So I wonder where he's actually from.
Higher than the rest of Western Europe.
And then the world, actually.
Yeah, just over. I mean, so it's a very high stat. And then the way our prisons are handled it's very different. You have more of a uniform system where, of course, we have the 50 states, and we have federal prison, and then we have for-profit prisons, we have boot camps,
Right.
we have community service. We just have a lot of different things that can happen.
Sure. So I guess what's also interesting is, especially for me, is like the boot camps. A lot of you might know the Germans, at least, like the TV channel N24, N24, and they will often have like documentaries about boot camps. And like, I think too many Germans just like, what the hell is going on at these places? It's like,
Yeah, so boot camp is usually only an option for a juvenile. So
I was going to say, or it's like a military style. That's why they call it boot camp, because in the military they have I think it's like a 90-day, maybe 120-day. I'm not quite sure, depending on the branch. Obviously, Army, Marines, and stuff like that are different. But they have what's called a boot camp, right? So with the juvenile system, they set it up sort of like that, kind of like a Scared Straight program, I think. I've never had to deal with that. I didn't get in trouble as a juvenile, so.
Jugendlicher.
yeah, so anyone, depending on the state and the crime, there's always a lot of variables.
Right.
Let's say you do let's say a teenager vandalizes a place or something, so just being a stupid kid. They're looking at like 3 years in prison. They may be given the option to go to a year boot camp.
But do you think like they would actually get the sentence of 3 years in prison if they vandalize something?
But let's say like the cost was 30 grand.
I think, yeah, like what he's saying, like if the cost is higher, or like, maybe you're habitual, like you're just known, you just keep doing it. You just won't stop vandalizing. You keep getting caught, then they're going to max you out. I think it's circumstantial, for sure, as far as like, and it's up to the judge too. Like, does he want to max you out? Does he want to give you, because there's a minimum recommended for this crime, right? And a maximum. And every crime's like that, right? It might serve a minimum of 6 months, a maximum of 2 years, and it's up to the judge. So it's usually circumstantial.
Okay.
Yeah, or something like that.
Okay.
I'm
Go
go to a year boot camp.
But do you think like they would actually get the sentence of 3 years in prison if they vandalize something?
But let's say like the cost was 30 grand.
Okay.
Yeah, or something like that.
Okay.
I use vandalism as an example. I mean, there are more severe cases like a teenager getting a DUI or like a gun possession charge or even a violent crime, assault. So I mean, maybe vandalism wasn't the best example.
Okay.
But if you're young and it's like your first time offender and like you're just maybe just have some issues, maybe you may be given that option.
Okay.
Right. And I don't know if you guys are curious as well, but what exactly is in that bowl? Is that peanut M&Ms? I mean, my brain's always filled with curiosities. So while I'm watching this, I'm listening to the differences between the prison system. I'm also wondering, are they in Germany right now filming, or are they in the United States filming, right? And then my brain goes to, what are they actually snacking on, and what's he drinking? Is he drinking Coca-Cola, Dr. Pepper, black tea? Sorry, it's just completely off topic, but I'm very interested in everything around me.
So, but as an adult, you don't get that option. You're going to prison.
Right.
So so the boot camps are an option. Sometimes too, we have over 50% of people in the United States in prison. It's on drug-related charges. And so some states give you options too. All right, you can go to rehab or you can go to prison. But if you go to rehab, you can rehab for 8 months, a year, whatever.
Circumstantial. If you've already been in rehab and you're clearly somebody that's trying to abuse the system and it's not working for you and you're just taking advantage, like, oh, I'll go to rehab so I don't go to prison or jail, then the judge, obviously they look at your background record and your priors and they're like, okay, well, this guy's clearly, this is not working and he's just abusing the system. So again, it's very circumstantial. Just had to put that out there because they don't necessarily, I mean, he does clarify a little bit because what I said earlier, he went on to say, essentially in his own roundabout words, but
like you're going, and if you're going to be in rehab for 8 months, a year, whatever. Like you're going, and if you break your probation, then you're going to jail.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
So we do have that. So there are other options for that. Do y'all have that? Like,
I'm not sure. I mean, there is like some programs for juveniles as well.
He said he's not sure. Well, yeah, he doesn't look like somebody that's getting in trouble. So he's like, I don't really have the personal experience with that, so I'm not really sure. You know what I mean? Just what
that like.
I'm not sure. I mean, there is like some programs for juveniles as well. They're not like boot camps, like in the sense of the documentaries that people see or of the boot camps how we have them. There's very few programs. I know there's like a former like professional like boxer actually, and he has like a program where he does something similar to the boot camp. Somewhere in Hesse, I think, but that's like very, very few of those programs, I guess. Very few.
Have you been to a German prison?
For 12 months, like back in the days. Actually, I've never like seen one.
One thing we do in the United States a lot. I'm generalizing here, but when you're in high school, they usually take you to prison.
So I think they're in the United States right now because I think he said one thing to do here in the United States. If I heard that right, let me see.
I'm generalizing here, but one thing we do in the United States a lot.
We do. Okay, so he didn't necessarily say here, so it doesn't make it clear yet.
Generalizing here, but when you're in high school, they usually take you to prison.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's just you can see a prison.
Oh, okay.
And that's not something they do around here that I know of. It's not like a standard thing, right? So maybe it just depends on the school and the school system in the area that you're in.
For whatever reason, maybe it's like, hey, do you really want to be here? Or, hey, this is just how the system is. But they'll take you. And that's, most of my friends have been and seen one.
Yeah.
And that's just something that they do. So like, you'll go see it.
Okay, like just visit the prison and see how that is.
Right, to see, yeah.
I think, like I said, I think they might do that as like possibly like an option, some school systems and stuff. It's not, at least where I'm at in Northern Indiana, it's not like a standard thing that like because you're in high school that this is something that you're for sure going to be doing. So circumstantial, I think, depending on the region and the state and the city and all that.
Well, in the U.S., you can actually, there's different kinds of prisons, right? So there's like a state-run prisons or run by the government, I guess. But then there's also like private companies who run prisons, right?
Yeah, that's right. So we have federal prisons, then you have state prisons, and then you have local jails. So this is kind of a fun fact.
Yeah.
Jail actually means like a local holding place, where a prison is like a long-term sentence.
So you usually go for like a night or something, right?
Right. But yeah, to get back to the point, yeah,
But that's not necessarily true because there's people that's been in jail for like a year or two. It just depends on if the prison's overcrowded and everything. Then sometimes they'll keep them in the jail if it's just like a year or so or whatever. But for sure, long term, if you got 2, 3, 4 years or longer, then most of the time you'll be in the jail system until you go to see the court. Until you see the judge, right? And then he gives you your actual, sentence. And then once you get sentenced, then normally they would transfer you to the bigger facility.
or
You go for like a night or something, right?
right. But yeah, to get back to the point, yeah, there are for-profit prisons, and it's a huge debate in the United States.
Yeah.
Because basically, what these companies do, they build prisons, they
For
run
business.
them, or they buy prisons from states and run them. So, like Arizona and Louisiana have for-profit prisons.
The downfall of that is because then you get the cops are sitting there, they get a quota and they get yelled at like, oh, well, you have to arrest these many people this month. And if you don't, then your job's on the line and like all this sort of stuff. So it's like, that's why the crime rate's so high because they're actively looking and hoping. They're sitting on the side of the road just sitting there like, I hope I see somebody without a seatbelt so I can write them a ticket. And when you got it for profit and it's not actually to help and serve the community, then it becomes an issue. That's why he said there is a huge debate in the United States with that. And I don't want to get too much into politics because people disagree and it becomes a heated discussion for sure. And I want to keep the main political issues and the debates and all the drama off my channel, guys. So, but opinions are welcome, right? Just don't be fighting.
Like Arizona and Louisiana have for-profit prisons. And so what that means is they have contracts with the companies who will run their prisons. And part of the controversy is in that contract, they have to be between 80 to 100% occupied.
Right.
And it's the quotas I was just saying. They have to.
Otherwise, the state gets fined like from breach of contract and has to pay the company for empty cells.
Yeah,
So
they
the
get
state
fined.
basically
Yeah, so you get fined because you didn't arrest enough people. Like they want criminals. Like that they want people to get in trouble. It's a broken system for sure. But again, I don't want to get into it. Just I don't agree with the whole system the way it is. It's very broken, and that's why I want to try to figure out what is actually going on in Germany, other countries. I heard about Norway, supposed to be one of the best prison systems in the world. So stay tuned. I do have a video planned in the works for that. So yeah.
right.
Otherwise, the state gets fined like from breach of contract and has to pay the company for empty cells.
So the state basically needs prisoners to put needs prisoners basically. Otherwise, they will have to pay a fee, right? A fine.
Right, they have to pay a fee. So that's a huge controversy because that looks like it's an incentive to keep people in jail longer or to sentence people to jail. And so there's a lot of controversy about that. And it's probably
also to make it more cost efficient, I guess, right?
Well, it is to make it more cost efficient. So it's not like they're just blatant,
right.
But yeah, so it'll be more efficient. And it's also another controversy on it is when you have a government-run program, it has to be really transparent.
Right.
Where these private companies can cut corners.
Okay.
And so there's been some criticism on, basically the quality of life, the amount of food, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
So, there's pros and cons because of expense and management and everything. But yeah, it's interesting. I just couldn't imagine that ever taking place in Germany.
No, I think there will be a huge uproar if prisons were about to be privatized, basically, or run by private companies. I don't think you would see that in Germany. I know that in Hesha they tried that with one prison, but it didn't work out also because it was against some kind of law. So yeah, I don't think that's gonna fly in Germany.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting. There's a place in Arizona called Tent City, and just Google Tent City, Arizona, and it's an outside prison.
Yeah.
There's a lot of controversy about it because
so it's just tents actually.
Yeah, it's very, very strict and minimal, and people, the sheriff out there has been I don't know. He's a very controversial figure.
Okay.
He's a very strict law enforcer. He's been accused of racial profiling, being unconstitutional. I mean, just all types of terrible things.
Fun stuff in life.
Yeah. So it's it's very like I'm actually kind of surprised it's still
running.
It's still running.
Running?
Yeah.
Okay. So what is Tent City?
Yeah, Tent City,
Arizona.
Yep.
Let's visit there. Let's go there.
Go check that out,
No,
guys.
thank you. Yeah, if you ever go to Arizona, be on your best behavior.
don't go to prison, and you might end up in a tent.
Yeah.
I've never been to Arizona.
In this context, it's worth mentioning the death penalty, but we're not going to mention it in this video.
We're not mentioning the death penalty because
That's a whole nother thing.
Huge topic, and it's just kind of a standalone topic. Stay out of trouble, kids.
Don't go to prison.
That is true. Stay out of trouble, guys. Don't go to prison. Like, subscribe, comment down below. And I think that it didn't really necessarily tell so much of the German aspect. It was mostly like how messed up the United States prison system was. So, I will probably be doing another video on the German prison system to get a little bit more in-depth knowledge about what is actually going on over there, guys. So, as always, the link to the original video will be in the description section down below. Go check out that channel, show them some love. And again, like, subscribe, comment down below, and I will see you in the next one, guys. All right, take care.